What's up, guys? Jetxc here, and we've got a interesting video to go over here, and it's going to be different from a lot of my other videos. We're actually going to be doing a deep dive into the sales of Shift Up, and more importantly, Got Us a Victory Nikke. And I really wanted to do this for a while, actually. So I've been privy to investor information for Nikke earlier this month, but the documents that I have, I can't show. However, recently there has been public information that has come thanks to this article that I found, and it's a Korean website where it goes over certain different game companies, and I think just companies in general and how they're performing and stuff like that, and they have like early access to like investor information. So this is pretty cool because I was able to confirm numbers with Q1 of 2024 of Nikke with this article. So it is, from everything I know, pretty much 100% accurate. So this is actually pretty exciting because a lot of us will look at the Jetxc revenue and be like, oh my god, this game's making more money than that game. Oh my god, look at how Nikke did. Guys, I will tell you this right now, the numbers do not match what you see on Jetxc gaming revenue. I'm sure a lot of you are surprised, but either way, I'm excited. So here's the site. It is very, very short, but it provides a lot of information. I did a Google translation here, but I will be going over a machine translation, so as getting the most accurate translations as possible. So here's the thing. I'm literally going to do this as if I'm a representative of Shift Up, and I'm presenting it to you guys. So I'm about to just put a bunch of like literal PowerPoint slides because I had to translate this and make sure it was as accurate as possible, right? So let's get started. So in the first piece of information here, we have the where is it here? Okay, so this is a graph, and this is Shift Up Q3 2024 performance summary. Now, a couple things you need to know. In Q2, that is when Stellar Blade came out. Now, what's Q2? Well, Q1 is January, February, March. So Q2 is April, May, and June. Now, Stellar Blade came out in June. So that's, or excuse me, in April. So that's something you got to keep in mind. So this is just overall, in blue, it's sales. In red, it's operating profit. In yellow, it's net profit, and the unit is in 100 million Korean won, right? So essentially all you'd have to do is that you just multiply 100 million by the number here. So for example, in the current quarter that we're in, Shift Up made 580 100 million Korean won. So if you were to multiply that, that's 58 billion won, right? Which is some pretty interesting numbers, right? So this is just very simple. You're wondering now, how much is that? You know, what does this really mean? This is just basic numbers for Shift Up, right? It goes all the way from Q3 of 2023 all the way into Q4 of 2023, and then it goes over quarters 1 to 3 of 2024. Now, let's get into those numbers, okay? So stick with me here. The sales summary for the graph, right? They get into a little bit of the information here, and they specifically highlight Q3 of 2024. Now, if you look back at the graph again, Q3 of 2024, they made a total of 580 100 million Korean won, which is 58 billion won. Now, we're going to convert those numbers in a second, but this is combined sales of everything, including Stellar Blade and like other minor things. That's like 1% of the revenue, right? So let's go over it. In Q3 2024, they mentioned Got Us a Victory Nikke maintained stable user traffic ahead of its second anniversary. Sales profits from Stellar Blade in Q3 was recognized as operating revenue, which just means, you know, they were able to take that revenue, buy this here, pay for that here, invest in that there, right? Nothing too crazy. Now, this is where it gets interesting. They mention in Q3 2024 operating profit, or no, let's skip that. Sorry, excuse me. They mention here sales by game. Q3 sales for Got Us a Victory Nikke were 34 billion Korean won, and in parentheses there, I did the conversion. They made over $24 million, 310,923 and 93 cents. So they made over $24 million in quarter 3. Okay, so that means in the course of 90 days, that's how much money they have made. Now, again, you're probably like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I thought they made this amount and that amount according to this and that. This is as accurate as you could get with the information about Goddess Victory Nikke, right? So I'm going to do this live with you guys. I'm just going to give you some averages so you can play with it in your head. Now, this isn't to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that number of 24,310,923.93, and we're just going to divide it by 3. So they made, on average, in 90 days, each month, they made about $8.1 million, okay? 8.1. Now, that's not to say that each month they made that, right? Because one month they could have made like 3 million, and then another month they could have made like 6 or something. But just on average, they made about $8.1 million, totaling to over 24 million. So, this is huge, guys, because a lot of us will go on the Gacha Game Revenue website and we'll be like, oh my god, Nikke made this much and that much. If you guys, you could go ahead and do this on your own, but you could compare what they've made here, and then you can kind of compare it with what you see on the revenue charts, and you can really see how stark a difference of the numbers are. It doesn't compare, right? So this is really interesting, and this is something that's important that you got to keep track of, right? And then they shout out Stellar Blade here making, and I'm just going to mention this real quick because it's mostly about Nikke, but in quarter 2 at the bottom, if you read, they made 25.8 billion Korean won, and essentially that's around $18 million, and then the next quarter they made 22.5, which is about 50 million. So they're doing pretty good with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade, I think, has probably sold well over, if they made in their first month 1 million copies for Stellar Blade, then they probably sold another 1 million just about, I would say, but they haven't announced it, or they're close to selling another 1 million, right? Anyway, so we finally got some real numbers of quarter 3. Now, what is quarter 3? Well, that is, let's see, that is July, August, and September. So if we take a look, let's look at Nikke events. Give me 1 second here. Let's find Nikke events. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so we have Nikke events. This is pretty interesting stuff here. So the first Nikke event that started, and it kind of spilled into July, is the Claymore event. But again, we're just going to go through the specific events within the quarter. So we had Beauty Full Shot. We had Juvenile Days. We had Colorless. You Cannot Evade. We had Jinx Player. We had Nonsense Red. And that's about it. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is because we're about to get into Q&A, because investors have asked, you know, Nikke's kind of dropped in comparative months or comparative quarters. What's been going on, right? And that's going to be something I want to talk to you guys about, and what they're going to do in the future and how they're going to change revenue. So it's actually going to be pretty interesting when we get to it. But I can probably guess what made them the most money out of the 90 days is probably Beauty Full Shot. Honestly, Juvenile Days, I believe that's the school. Yeah, that's the school stuff. So that was with Ein, I believe. Yeah, that was with Ein. And then there was another one with Sway too. I doubt those really did much to make players spin. But, you know, everything was kept, you know, pretty okay. But I would say out of all of them, Beauty Full Shot was definitely the highlight of this. And unfortunately, we can't go month by month to see which one made the most. We can only go by quarter. But if I had to guess, it would have to be Beauty Full Shot. So that's pretty interesting. So keep that in mind, right? Now, I want to show you guys a little bit of extra information here that I think you'll really enjoy. So let's keep going. So the next slide or piece of information here. So we have, and again, I translated this for you guys to help you read through it. But this is recognize Stellar Blade Q3 sales profit as operating revenue. And then it also shows Nikke as well. So let's kind of go over it here. So in dark gray, or it's kind of black, but dark gray, that's Nikke revenue. And light gray, that is Stellar Blade revenue. And then the other is like very, it's like basically white. That's the other revenue, which is extremely minor, right? Most of their money comes from Goddess of Victory Nikke. Anyway, so I decided to do the numbers for you guys. So let's take a look. So I want to show you guys at Q3 2023, and we're going to go all the way to 2024 Q3. Okay, here we go. So this is in million Korean won, by the way. So this is 38,091 million Korean won, which is 38 billion essentially. That translates into 27,301,000. Okay, that was Q3 of 2023. Q4 of 2023, they made over 45,818 million Korean won, which converts into 32 million USD. Okay, now we get into the new year of 2024. 37,000 million Korean won, which converts into 25,915,000, etc., USD. We have Q2 of 2024, 65,202 million Korean won, which converts into 27,334,192 USD. And the most recent one, Q3 of 2024, like we went over, they made over 24 million. So, hey guys, Future Jet here. So real quick, I just want to make a slight correction here. The numbers I'm reading, let's say, for example, if you look at Q1 2024, you see a total of 37,376. And then I put in parentheses Nikke, 36,471. The converted number at the bottom there, that 25,915,858, that is the number related to Nikke. So the Nikke in parentheses, that's how much they made versus the total, which is 37,000. So of that 37,000, 36,000 of that was from Nikke. So the real USD numbers that I am converting, that is specifically for Nikke. So I just want to make that correction. So sorry about that, guys, but yeah, just to kind of make sense of things. All right, back to the video. Oh, Nikke revenue is kind of sort of consistent this year. Now, there is talk, and it's pretty much confirmed. A lot of articles back like last year kind of confirmed this, but or not last year, earlier this year. We do know that Nikke has made at least $7 million in a little bit over a year, $700 million, excuse me. So if you were to do the averages of each month of that first year, and I think it's like there was an article, there's some articles, so I'm not really going to show it because there's a bunch of different articles, but it's like between either a year or 15 months that they've made around 700 million, right? So if you were to divide that up into each month would have contributed like 40 million or something like that, just about. But what you have to take into account is that the launch of Nikke and the first couple months are included into that. I wish I could show launch numbers. Unfortunately, I can't. But that, I mean, it could be. You could just imagine that Nikke, and I think they reported like anywhere. If you were to look at gacha game revenue, I think they may have said like 70 million on their first month, which I think they probably made more. They probably made within their first 3 months of launch like well over 150 to 200 million off of their first couple of months. So that was like the majority of their sales, and then everything kind of tapered off, right? So now in 2024, we are out of the honeymoon phase for Nikke. The people that are playing this game are the people that are pretty much here to stay for the most part. And this is where it gets interesting, because the numbers that are given to us, the investors are looking and they're wondering, hey, what's going on? But yeah, guys, I really hope this information is something you guys can kind of keep track of. So essentially every month, Nikke makes around $8 million. A majority of the audience is from Japan. I don't want to go into the percentages of each region, but I do know there are articles out there that says Japan is over 50% of the audience for Nikke, which I 100% agree with. They are definitely the majority audience. I mean, everything is advertised in Japan. They've got a Nikke mega store in Japan. They've got a concert going on in Japan and Korea, right? Japan is their mainstay for revenue when it comes to Goddess of Victory Nikke. So this is great info, and I really hope you guys remember this. And if they do post things like this the next time, I'll do another video on it. But yes, currently this entire year, Nikke, you could say each month on average they make about $8 million. Now, And of course, and then every quarter it's around anywhere between what, like 24 to probably like 24 to 30 million max, right? But it's looking like it's averaging out here based off these numbers to around 24 to like 27 mil. Okay, so something that I'm excited about, we're going to get into Q&A from investors. So this is really interesting. So let's bring it up on screen. Let's get the first question here. Okay, guys, so remember the numbers that we got in our head here. So let's just go through these questions. What are the causes and improvement measures for the poor performance of Goddess of Victory Nikke in Q3 2024? And again, shout out to the article here. This Korean website, fantastic, right? So they actually were able to get this information and it was shared publicly. So their answer to this, and again, I'll read that one more time. Improvement measures for the poor performance of Goddess of Victory Nikke in Q3 2024. The global service performance of Goddess of Victory Nikke in Q3 2024 recorded 34.2 billion, which I did in parentheses. That was me. I put that there. That is $24 million. A decrease of 11% compared to previous quarter, which was 38.5, which was 27 million. While we were able to maintain stable user traffic with the summer event in July and the Evangelion collaboration event in August, leading up to the second anniversary, the performance of Evangelion collaboration event was somewhat disappointing. So, a lot of you, I remember when the Evangelion collab came out, a lot of people are like, bro, I get it, it's Eva, right? But this doesn't really match the vibe with Nikke. And that went to show. Because you can listen, the people that said, oh my god, does it really matter? It's not that big of a deal. No, it is big of a deal. They lost money, right? And that's all they care about right now is their pocketbooks. So they lost 11% in revenue in the newest quarter, which is Q3, okay? And they admitted themselves that the Evangelion collab was somewhat disappointing. The gacha skins were bad, in my opinion. The characters, although nostalgic as hell, it wasn't really that exciting overall. So I can definitely confirm to you, as someone who played through Evangelion collab, I didn't get any character, to be honest with you. I just didn't really care. Like, I've got just about every single character in the game, so I'm just like, you know what, there's going to be a character that comes out anyway that's going to do what Eva characters do, just better. So whatever, right? So let's continue. The collaboration characters designed to preserve Evangelion's original identity. Excuse me. Let me read that over. The collaboration characters designed to preserve Evangelion's original identity did not resonate strongly enough with users. Now, Jet, what does that mean? That just means the characters weren't attractive enough. It wasn't sexy enough, right? The people that got into this game day one were people that saw volume, watching her jiggle physics go up and down as you shoot. It's a booty jiggle game. So essentially what he's saying is characters weren't attractive enough, and that's really it. It just wasn't resonating, and that's why people didn't put money down. Oh, but this character, okay, sure, but we got to look at it from a perspective of there's hardcore players that are looking at meta, and then there's people that just log in every now and again, maybe not every single day, but they pull based on, oh, this person's cute or this person's hot, and they just play the game, and that's that, right? So overall, the characters weren't exciting, especially the gacha game, or not the gacha game, the gacha skins as well, right? So let's keep it going. We have identified this as the main cause. For 2025 collabs, we plan to carefully consider user feedback from 2024 collaboration. So I want to add in my 2 cents here. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but recently, throughout the past month and a half, if you've been playing Nikke, they've done 4 surveys, 2 marketing surveys, basically asking, hey, like, have you seen this marketing ad on Twitter or YouTube, or have you seen this event, or have you seen this merchandise? They've been asking us those questions. And then for the other 2, they basically talk about like characters within the game. Like they asked the most recent one I remember was the survey about the Phantom Thieves one, where they asked us, hey, how do you like the new character Quincy or Phantom? And I'm gonna be honest, I put Quincy as very strong on every category in terms of like attractiveness, sexiness. Like they do ask this. And then for I think, yeah, for Phantom and then the Miranda skin, I gave it a negative score because I'm like, I mean, I get the theme, but I really don't like the designs, right? So I think what's going to happen is, oh, and also too, on another survey, they asked about like dailies and quality of life. So 2025 overall is probably going to be where they gear up to start to change things up. Because they've recognized even from Evangelion that, you know, we probably got to switch things up for the players. So 2025, guys, I think we'll see a lot of changes. Now, that's a lot of yap for me. Let's go to the next question, okay? So, question 2. What are the expected outcomes for Goddess of Victory Nikke in Q4 2024, which we are currently in? We have the second anniversary event and the winter event planned. The new characters, 3 new characters, including 2 pickup characters and 2 skin gachas released as part of the ongoing second anniversary event, are receiving positive response from users. So this is recent, guys. Again, we know the gacha skins we're talking about. We know the characters that they're talking about. In the first week of the second anniversary event, the iOS market ranked 1st in Korea, 2nd in Japan, and 1st in Taiwan. Wow, so big numbers. Can't wait to see that. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see it, and I'll do a video for you guys. With more substantial content being included in the second anniversary event compared to the first one. We expect Q4 performance to be the same as or better than last year's result. So real quick, last year's results was, let's see. Okay, so here's the slide. So in Q4 of 2023, they did make a total of $32 million. Now we can't go by month. So I'm assuming what they made was a little bit over $8 million or something like that. Maybe it was a majority 10, 12, who knows. But we can only go by quarters because they don't show monthly revenue. But that's what they made in the quarter for 2023 of last year, $32 million. So they're expecting the same results for Q4, but specifically for the month of the anniversary, right? So, okay, cool. Let's see. So that's question 2. Let's go to question 3. So for question 3, when will Goddess of Victory Nikke expand into new regions, and what are the expected outcomes? We are closely collaborating with global publishers with extensive experience in Chinese markets and are considering release in the first half of 2025. By analyzing other subculture games and recent successful cases, we are preparing differentiated strategies and marketing to ensure that Nikke can achieve long-term stable success in new regions. So they're going to China. Differentiated strategies. I think that just means they may have to censor the game, or they may have to take out some characters. Who knows? I'm assuming they're going to try and stick with their 12+ rating, so it probably will get censored. Tough for my CN bros, but you know, it is what it is. We'll have to see. So first half of 2025, that should be interesting. All right, next question. So question 4 here. What were the results of Stellar Blade? Okay, so this is Stellar Blade. I don't want to really focus on this too much, but look, shout out to Stellar Blade, because we are talking about Nikke, but they're talking about, you can read this yourself. But they're talking about like Nair DLC, and then how they're going to put their efforts into a PC version in 2025. So let's move on. Question 5. Okay, so this last question, I guess you could kind of ignore too, but this is what I was talking about. The release is targeted for 2025, and they're saying it should do numbers, bigger numbers on PC. So they say, considering recent trends such as Steam's increased share of the AAA gaming market and global success of Black Myth Wukong, we expect performance on PC to exceed that of consoles. So shout out to Stellar Blade. Hopefully we do get that Stellar Blade collab between Nikke and Stellar Blade. That would be awesome in Goddess of Victory Nikke. But yeah, guys, that is about it. Now, definitely one of my longer videos, but I really do hope you enjoyed all of that stuff. This is information that I want you guys to keep in the back of your head. So whenever you hear numbers being thrown out, just remember you have literally everything from Q3 of 2023 all the way up to Q3 of 2024 to base your numbers off of. And I really do like this kind of thing. I kind of nerded out with this stuff, so hopefully you guys don't mind the long video. If you stayed this long, thank you. But this just gives you an insight into how Nikke is doing and how they make decisions based off of revenue. Since I know gacha revenue is such a big thing in the community. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna stop talking. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. I want to see a lot of long paragraph essays in the comments, man. That'd be great. But yeah, guys, that's it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I am out. Later.